Busy.
She be ready.
Hey, Wallo.
What's up, Mom? Look, you know him?
Shannon.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing? I'm doing amazing. How are you
Why
today?
you put your sexy voice? So I told you, when I be calling you, you did that with Dion. Don't do that. Don't do that. You did that with Prime, too. You tell me, hey, Shannon.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Club Shay Shay. I am your host, Shannon Sharp. Got to stopping by for conversation and a drink today. New York Times best-selling author, a highly sought-after motivational speaker, a revered culture advisor for YouTube, a role model, a mentor, community leader for millions, one of the most influential, successful, passionate media personalities on the internet, a global inspiration, a multi-hyphenated marketer, activist, thought leader, humanitarian, orator, entrepreneur, and an entertainer. A natural phenomenon, a gift to the world, top-rated podcaster. He was named on the Hollywood Reporter's most powerful people in podcasting, co-host of the widely popular $1 Million Worth of Game, the son of Philadelphia. He lives by the motto, no one can stop you but you. Here he is, Wallo.
How you be, my brother?
I'm good, bro. How
That
you
was
doing?
a hell of an introduction. Damn. That introduction, I'm like, what are you talking about?
That me, or you talking
I'm
about
like,
somebody
what
else
is
sitting
he
down here?
talking about? Yeah.
Wallo, thanks for pulling up the Club Shay Shay,
Appreciate
man.
you,
You know,
man.
you have your own thing, and I know you're busy, so you're taking time
Yeah,
out of your
yeah.
day to sit down and chop it up with me, so I greatly appreciate it, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing outstanding.
Better than good, great, better than outstanding?
Outstanding.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You want to take
Oh, no, I don't drink.
You don't drink?
No, I don't drink and smoke, none of that. You can drink. Take a drink of that.
I don't drink one topical. I don't want to have to go to the bathroom and take a break
Then you
before
got
we
to
get
piss.
halfway
But
through the thing.
you gonna take that, drink some of this company. You gonna drink some of that, but that's another story.
Yes. First of all, congratulations on being on the New York Times bestseller list.
Mm-hmm.
Memoir, Armed with Good Intentions. What made you decide to write a book?
You know, everybody feel as though when you get there in life, or you have a moment where as though success come, everybody say, "Oh man, you just perfect. Your life better than mine." My life ain't better than yours. The only thing I wanted to show in the book was that Armed with Good Intentions is filled with a bunch of losses. A loss. That's the average life. But I think a lot of times people don't understand the only thing different between me and you is I ain't stopped. That's it. I just ain't stopped. Even in the darkest moments, I said, I got to get back up. I got to figure it out. When I'm sitting in the cell, I'm like, when I get out, I got to do better. You know what I mean? And that was my whole thing. Like, one of the main reasons I didn't stop, I wanted to get out of jail and show my grandmom that I could do right before she leave this earth, because she always see me do wrong. And she always believed in me. She always said, you're going to get it. You're going to figure it out. You're going to And she, you know, her whole thing was like, you can't do wrong right. You need to start doing right.
Wow.
And so later on in life, it catch you. Because all she would tell me was that, Nanny would tell me, lowest people, she would tell me, boy, I came to Philadelphia with 2 kids and $10. I got my house in 1963. I worked every day. I couldn't even afford, she said, I couldn't afford a refrigerator, but I got my other stuff. So Father Washington from the church, he signed, so I gave me a refrigerator. I worked every day. I never took a day off. And by 1978, I owned my house. Like you come from some
Humble
great
beginning.
You come from a good, this genes of mine, and I always seen a grind, you know, to the day, even though I take care of things, but it's like, she said, baby, she would tell me from jail, ain't nothing ever get cut off in this house. Wow. You know better, you know right. But everything that she's telling me, she's outnumbered with the street culture. So I'm you know, Nanny boy, she's seeing me, boy, you can do better. And I remember I used to lie to her when I was in prison. I used to tell her all the time. She used to be like, listen, I ain't gonna be here when you get back, baby. Because I would never tell her how much time I was doing. I would tell her I'm coming home every year, and she'd be like, I ain't gonna be here when you get back, baby. And I'd be like, Nanny, I'm gonna be there. I'm like, Nanny, I'll be there next year. She said, you told me next year 3 years ago. Because I'm sitting here thinking that Nanny wasn't as swift as she is, but I learned later she was swift. But I just wanted to get out and show her that I could do good in life before she expired, before she leave, because everything she told me, she was right about it, and I wanted her to know that. She's 90 years old now.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you're writing this memoir, did you have any idea that it would end up on the New York Times bestseller list?
I never had a doubt. I never had a doubt. And the reason I never had a doubt was because you don't have a lot of transparency in things. Like, in these days, you have somebody have a book out or whatever, but it don't be the raw of them. It don't be coming from an aspect of, I'm gonna just tell the truth about what I got going on, whether you like it or not, because everything is perfect. My life ain't perfect. Right. Your life ain't perfect. Life ain't perfect.
Correct.
So I was like, I always felt that. And it wasn't just about the book. It's the work that come after the book come out. It's to go into shout out to all the black bookstores out there. It was man, let me tell you something, Shannon. When I tell you they had my back, whether it was Baldwin & Co. in New Orleans, whether it was Uncle Bobby's in Philadelphia, Malik Books in LA, Mahogany Books in DC. The list goes on and on. Kendrickson down in Houston. I think we forgot about that. A lot of times we forget about reading, but it's a lot of strong black bookstores out there that really helped us. So I want to shout out to them. Support your local black bookstore because they supported me in a major way. Right.
You mentioned earlier, it says a lot about life is loss, loss, loss. And only in the song, all we do is win, win, win. Is that true? Only in a song.
Yeah, that's fake. Yeah.
But you have to, and so is that what you wanted your story to, do you think that's why your story resonates because of what you've gone through? And a lot of other people have gone through similar things. Maybe they didn't go to prison, but they've suffered a lot of losses, but somehow found a way to turn it around and get some wins.
And it's the connection of that everything, like you might even see the upbringing of the losses, but since I came home from prison, I showed you 37-year-old man getting out of prison in my grandma middle room. I make videos out of nanny middle room. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, and the only reason I could make parole in nanny middle room, rest in peace to my Aunt Ruby, that was my baby. She had a heart attack, she died in that room. So I was able to make parole there, and I showed you my videos. I wasn't perfect. I showed you living in nanny house. I showed you running down the streets. I showed you on the subway, the bus. You seen me most of it wasn't all perfect, but it was me.
There have been a lot of rappers that have gone, served time. Why do you think that's such a common thing in the rap industry?
In our community, rap has always been an expression of the environment. A lot of times rap was an escape for us. Okay. Growing up, it changed a lot. Growing up, it was a, personal expression. It was a documenting of the environment that we come from. A lot of people were storytellers of what they seen. We didn't really do this. Nas never did what he's taught, but he talked about. A lot of people ain't do this. As you can see, Ice Cube was smart. Dre was smart. These dudes were smart, but they just talked about. I think in rap, it became a challenging sport, a violent challenging sport to the point of whereas though, if I say something, oh yeah, you really that? I'm a challenge. I'm gonna see if you really a killer. I'm gonna see, oh man, we gotta die about this shit. So that's what came about, and I think a lot of times there's a lot of aggression that come with it, and sometimes we speak our own fate. And some people talk about dying like it's cool, like on the aspect of like when I die, make sure y'all, so
power in the tongue.
Yeah, it's power in the tongue. And we gotta live out the rap sometime.
Do you feel like rap glorifies prison?
What's crazy? It don't glorify prison. I'm not gonna say it all the way because it definitely could teach you how to get to prison. It's definitely a directory. You know what I mean? It's definitely a directory.
It's a map, huh? It's a how-to guide.
It's a map, right? But it don't glorify it because most people that rap about it never been to prison. These dudes never been to prison. So it's like, I ain't gonna say glorify, but it definitely direct you to a cell.
But why don't you think that guys have learned? Because you've seen guys that have gone there, learn from their mistakes and not try to go back. But you see these young guys, as you mentioned, they try to be like, and they talk about things they don't know anything about. And they feel like they need to do something in order to get that for real, that cachet to like, I'm really about this life.
You know what it is? I believe that when you was young, I was young. You don't believe nothing that anybody older tell you because you think they disconnected from the reality of life as it is now, not knowing it was once a reality of life that they was living in themselves when they was younger. Right. So they're just trying to share, if you tell me, man, don't go down that block, there's a hole right there in the ground, I'm like, man, I can get around that hole. So it's hard sometimes when you're young, because we did the same thing.
Yes.
We just didn't do it to the level of maybe violence or stupidity that some people do it today, but I just think it's hard for people to hear it, and they think it's not going to be me. Yeah, Wallo, you did 20, but OG, that ain't gonna be me. I'm smarter than that. What you gonna do?
Right.
You know what I mean? So until they get there, and then I'm talking to them on their phone because their uncle called me, yo, call Wallo, man, you was right. Oh, so it took you to get 30 years for you to be right? You still got it?
Right.
You still got a spark?
Why you couldn't learn from Wallo experience? Why did you have to go experience it for yourself? He already did it. He already told you the path that you was traveling down, where it was gonna land you. But you didn't want to hear that.
And you got to think about this. The street game is a game. It's a game. Okay. If you play Monopoly, how many people can win? Probably one. If you become an athlete of a game, how many of y'all really gonna go to the NFL? How many of y'all really gonna go to the NBA? How many of y'all, do you know how many people play basketball in America? And how many people is in the league? It's not a lot.
Right.
How many people is in football? It's not a lot. How many people? So you got to think about this. It's a game that majority of the people lose. And the reality is, like I always tell people, this is me from me being in prison. You show me 10 dudes in a gang, or you show me 10 dudes that's from a corner, you show me 10 dudes, I'm gonna show you 7 dudes that's gonna tell on them anyway. So the mask don't mean nothing. None of this, all this stuff is cap. Everything that we thought it was is cap. Because we live in a world where everybody is so, they choosing them first. Do you think Lil Bobby is gonna go to jail when they ready to give him 15, 20, whatever, and he never been to jail before? You think he leaving Keisha with that nice little sexy, that beautiful body?
Right.
You think he leaving her? And his mom gonna come in that interrogation room, Bobby, you better tell what they done. We see it all the time, but we think my homies ain't gonna tell on
That
you.
ain't gonna be
Your
me.
homies gonna tell on you. They gonna tell.
Do you think, like, what about, you used to have this show, I think it was called Scared Straight?
Yeah,
or something
that
like
was my show.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, we're going to take you, because we see where you guys are headed. A lot of you guys are in alternative schools, or you're in juvie. And so we're going to show you where you're headed. This is the recipe that you're cooking up right now is going to lead to this perfect dish right here. So we're going to give you an opportunity to see where you don't want to be. Do you think they think it's cool to be in prison? You said a lot of these guys that rap about it ain't never been there.
No, you know what's crazy? I'm not even gonna hold you. And I'm gonna just talk about me growing up. Me growing up, I seen some vicious, do you remember Blood In, Blood Out? You remember the penitentiary movie? I seen some vicious movies. I seen it on the TVs and all that stuff, but I thought I was smart enough. I don't think a lot of people think they're gonna make it there.
Right.
So until you make it there, you like me, I get there and I'm like, I get to prison and when that big gate closed behind me and I'm on that bus, I'm praying to every guy that I could think of. Like, please help me. Please don't let these people take me. They don't take my innocence. Please.
Right.
I'm scared to death. Because, I seen, when I walk through the hallway, first, after they tell me, as I get out the shower, dude tell me, wash it up. The shower like a minute. Get up out of there. Wash them balls. Get that crabs and lights up off you. Get up. Throw your stuff or you get your little box. And lady say, in case of emergency, where you want your body sent? I'm like, what type of shit? I didn't.
Whoa. I thought I just having to do some time. I ain't talking about no dying.
I'm a juvenile that just committed an adult crime and they certify me as adult. Well, why we gotta die? Like, what's going on? Why I gotta die? Please don't could you call my mom and let me get out? She peeped the fear in my eyes and she said, she reworded the word, no, baby, like in case of she said baby to me too. So she's peeped that I'm really a kid. She like, in case of anything happened, who you want us to call? Like emergency, help him out? And then I grabbed that box. I went in that hallway, greatest for a prison. I seen the biggest black man I ever seen. He'll make you look like a midget. He was so big. It was like he was lifting weights in places I didn't know you could lift weights. He was so big coming out the joint with a tank top on. And when I seen him, it's like he coming. I look down at the ground, I'm like, oh my God, he gonna get me.
Yeah.
Cause I'm not one of these dudes out here that's talking like, I thought my ass was on the line when I went to prison. I was scared.
Right.
I'm not telling you like I was tough. All that tough shit that I knew, and I thought I was on the street, that shit went out the way when I got to the penitentiary, because I'm like, I always thought that somebody was gonna get me. And then now you realize that you're not doing days, you're doing years, you're doing decades. Ooh. It get real. Ooh, that shit get real.
But is it the allure that got you into it? Was it the allure of fast money, quick money? Was it a lifestyle that you wanted to have that you weren't willing to go, say, work a fast food job and work your way up? What was it about that life that attracted Wallo to it?
Because when I grew up, I realized quick that America respects the successful criminal. So when I'm sitting on the steps, Shannon, and I see Mike pull up with the Benz, the gold chain on, the music blasting, and when he come up to get the most beautiful, he pulling up in his Benz to get the most beautifulest girl in the neighborhood. She's the most beautifulest girl in the neighborhood. When he pull up, I noticed that I ain't just noticing, I ain't watching him. I'm watching Miss Jackson, Miss Brown, Miss Green. You know what they saying to him? Hey, baby. I'm like, oh shit. And then as the girl get in the car, they all speaking to, hey man. But when I see Mr. James come home from work and he walking down the street, he's a plumber, he all dirty, don't nobody speak to him. Miss Brown, Miss Jackson, Miss Green, they don't speak to him. This in the 80s, this showtime, baby. I'm talking about, I didn't see Mr. James' name on the marquee. I seen the dude with the Benz name on the marquee. The lights is shining. I'm talking about this is prime time, baby. He got the chain on, the pinky ring, the Rolex watch on, the music blasting, Ice-T high roller coming out of the Benz. This shit is movie shit. I'm like, I got to be him. He's a superhero, not Mr. James.
Yeah, they speak to him, they look down on me.
They look down on Mr. James. Mr. James, he's a hard-working man in the ghettos of America. Black man. I said, I got to be him. I got to be him.
You went viral when you broke into tears telling Lil Durk not to retaliate in King Von's death.
You know, it was so emotional because Durk, he said, I need you to come here, right? He said, we could do it in Miami, whatever, but I need you to come here because I need you to talk to these. That's what he told me. He said, I need you to talk to him, Wallo. I need you to talk to him. I said, all right, I got him. And when I get there, I didn't know it was gonna be that many. It was like 100 of them. We in the basement in Chicago. It's 100 of them.
And them niggas, they ready to ride?
Yeah, no, they just was there, you know.
Okay, they wanted to hear what you wanted to say.
No, it wasn't even that. They didn't even know why they was there. Dirk was like, we gonna do it in the hood.
Okay.
I want you to holler at them, boom, boom, boom. So I'm like, I got you. When I got there, I'm like, he like, man, listen, I need you to holler at him. It just so happened that when I'm talking to him, I understand, because I'm talking to a couple of them on the side, and I understand that nothing is more important in the ghetto than revenge. Revenge is king.
Yes.
Closest thing to God. Because the black man is willing to die about his ego. The ego killed more black men than any other disease. Nothing killed black men more than the ego. That ego of, you hit me, Shannon, people saw it, I can't let you go. You gotta die about this shit. And my mama raised me, so I grew up soft. I ain't had no structure of no father there. So I'm just emotional. So when I'm in there, I'm telling them, it was emotional for me because I'm letting them know, the man that killed my brother, I forgave him. Am I a coward? Am I a punk? Well, I don't know what that shit mean, but I knew that forgiving him mean that I was willing to live for my brother in an environment where we celebrate dying for somebody. I said, no, I'm gonna live for my brother, my grandma, my brother, kids, my mama. I'm gonna live for them because don't nobody talk about that. But I know that, I'm gonna just be straight up. I know that I'm not built to die right now because I know it's more things that I gotta do, and I know I got a responsibility. That was my older brother. You think what I'm saying? So It's like, I gotta step up, I gotta be a man. So I gotta think as a man would think, not as a street would think, that would die about his ego and leave his babies, leave his mama, tear down the community about the ego. My ego wasn't built like that. I wasn't that strong to have that type of ego. I wasn't cut like that.
Who's scoring big in the NBA this season? You are, with all the new ways to get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. From the Monster Slams to dishing the rock to cleaning the glass, get behind your favorite player and prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the home of the NBA player props. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like picking how many points your favorite player will have. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, make your pick. First time, here's something special for you. New DraftKings customers, bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Take it to the rack with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Shannon. That's code Shannon for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. You mentioned that you had to forgive your brother's killer. How long did it take you? Because they say forgiveness is not for the person that wronged an individual. The forgiveness is for the person that's been wronged.
May came to see me. So my niece, she come to see me the week after her dad get killed. This the first time I meet this little girl. I'm telling you, she was like 4 or 5. She was like probably 4 or 5, but she was like 50. So when she came in there, she ran around the visiting room, she jumped on my lap. She said, "Oh, when you come home, you're not leaving, you're not coming back, is you?" I'm like, "No, I'm not coming back." She said, "I need you to take me here." She telling me all this stuff. And my nephew there too, I'm just talking to him. And I'm like, damn, somebody finally counting on me. Somebody looking at me in the way I never had nobody look at me. You see what I'm saying? In that way, my little brother, I was always in the penitentiary, so my little brother Jalal, we really didn't have the time. So I'm like, damn, this little person looking at me like that, she putting a lot of power and a lot of energy on me. And so I already had it in my mind because I'm gonna just tell you something. Shannon, I'm not built like that to go kill no black man. I'm not built like that. I'm not designed like that. I'm not tough like that. I'm not ruthless like that. I'm not heartless like that. That's just not me. And my worstest fear in the history of life, I don't give a fuck how I die, I don't care what happened. But if a black man kill me, you're gonna hear my scream until life end for everybody. You're gonna hear my pain. My tears is gonna flood the ghettos of America. I don't care about nothing else. But don't let me go out like that. So I said to myself, I ain't built like that. Why I want you dead? Because I don't know, listen, I don't know what happened that night, why it happened. Only thing I know is my brother got shot. He ran to my grandma's house, he opened the door.
He died in the arms.
I ain't built like that to see nobody else go out like that. I ain't built like that. I ain't cut like that, Shannon. I'm just not, I ain't designed like that. Just because you hurt Nanny, I don't want to hurt your grandma. For what? If I hurt your grandma, when the shit won't stop.
It's a continuous cycle. You said that by not retaliating, it gave you the freedom to spend time with your family.
When I got out of jail, right, I ain't have a lot, but I had everything. Because I remember something. Back in the day in the ghetto, we ain't had nothing, but we had each other, so we had everything. So I'm like, damn. I told her I was gonna take her to these places that I ain't even know I had to take her to them.
Right.
Cause I ain't know these places. I just was telling her, I'm in jail. She's like, you gonna take me here? Yeah, I know that. I'm just listening to her on the phone. I got you, I'm gonna take you there. So when I get there, I'm like, you ain't tell me this shit costs all this money. You know, I don't go on a budget. I ain't know it said Five Below. I go in there, I spent $50. God damn.
Yeah.
They said Five Below. I'm thinking I'm gonna get a bunch of stuff for $5.
Right.
So she got me in there, Mom, don't be buying all that. I'm like, I got to. I just wanted to show up, not just financially, I wanted to show up mentally, emotionally. I wanted to show up for them. And that was my whole thing. So it was like, bang. That was all it was about, was living for them and being able to see them to see me. For me to be an example to my niece and nephew and them, and even for my grandma, like, boy, you could do something with yourself. Because I wanted to prove Nanny right. She always said, you special. But I'm like, special? What you mean? Why would I be special? I'm thinking she crazy, telling me I'm special. I live in the ghetto. I didn't know you could be special coming from the ghetto.
Dirk said, this mofo really dropping tears for this ish. Do you feel like he heard what you were saying? Do you feel like the guy, not only did they listen, because a lot of times people listen to respond, but did they listen to understand what you were saying?
I hollered at a lot of them afterwards. Someone would call me. It's not about them listening, it's about conditioning. It's about environmental. You can listen to everything that I say, but a lot of time, as I'm still growing, I don't have the resources to remove you from the danger that you're up against every day. A lot of things these young plovers, they do here, they smart. A lot of them are smart. But their environment don't allow them to grow. Because I can't move out of this environment right here. And I know them dudes down them block, they want to kill me. I gotta protect myself. I want to kill. So it's deep. We tell these kids a lot of things. And all we do is criticize young black male every way possible. We criticize them as much as possible, but we don't bring no resources. You know how many people make money off of just criticizing us and talking down on not just us, it's black people. But they don't got no, okay, you criticize me. You got all these gigantic platforms. What we doing is cool, Shannon, but they got huge media platforms where they just want to tear the people down in the black community, but they ain't coming up with no solution and they ain't bringing no funding. So I could tell these young brothers this, that, and the third, but they still got to take care of their baby and they got to figure out the only way that they know. And in order to really take somebody to another level, you got to have time, energy, and resources to deprogram them so you can reprogram them. The programming was hit. The dehumanization of black people by black people was strong. This is some shit that we done. It started from when a little boy is young, and he playing on the swing, and he fall, he start crying. Boy, be tough, don't cry. We're taught to ignore and bury our emotions and our feelings and our vulnerability. That's not cool, that's not tough. So all that stuff right there is a real big programming that took place by us alone. So how do we come up out of that? It's gonna be deep, it's gonna take a lot.
How does one outgrow the environmental aspects, the constraints in which he or she is brought up in, if they're not removed from that environment? Because the fish is only going to get so big if the tank is not conducive for it to grow. A tree is only going to get so big if their environment is not conducive. So if you just put a tree in a tub, it's only going to get as big as the tub allows. Now, if you take that tree out of a tub and let it grow in a 50-acre field, it can grow, it can flourish. How difficult is it to reprogram? You said reprogram so I can program in the right aspect. How difficult is it to do that?
In the history of our community, the people that was able to do that, it was a few. Educational relocation is the greatest thing that happened to college. See, a lot of people talk, oh, you don't need college. Oh, we understand that you might come out and have bills, but college exposed you to other cultures. See, the hood lack exposure to the world. And a lot of times you don't never think about everybody that left. Mostly everybody that left, you never really see them come back because they meet other towns, they get relationships with people, and they go. They go and they see the world. They the ones that come back. Most of the time, them people that go and get the education, they're the strongholds of the family. They're the ones that the family count on. Call your uncle, call your aunt. She down there, she's a doctor, she's a lawyer, we gotta start educating ourselves, making sure the kids is educated, putting books in their hand over tablets. We gotta start there because I'm not gonna say we're at the point of no return, but some people is just stuck and they're using that as a badge of honor. Sometimes in our hood, ignorance is a badge of honor. It's a cool thing. Nobody wanna, we can't say that about, because anytime black people say things about black people, they ain't supposed to say that out loud or whatever. I don't know how that shit can.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's a badge of honor. Oh, I'm this. Think about it. We put on a pedestal the criminals. American way, the American way. At the end of the day, we love the successful criminal. We love Tony Soprano. We love Scarface. We love Michael Corleone. This is proof. The judge, the lawyer, the district attorney, the presidents, all them people, they love the movies. So the programming is deep.
How difficult is it to really break a cycle when, you see a father that goes to jail, he had brothers that go to jail, and now you see a kid, the only thing that he knows is disruption, corruption. How difficult is that, Wallo?
I'm a product of generational incarceration. My stepfather, Hip, he was in Dallas Penitentiary in the 80s. Me and him were cellmates in Dallas Penitentiary by 1998. By 2005, me and my brother Steve were cellmates in Dallas Penitentiary. And there's a picture of me, it's inside of the book. Me, Hip, and Steve on a visit when I was a kid. And we all wound up being in that same prison. Wow. It's a cycle because prison is you gotta think about this. There's the ghettos of America build communities. And when I say the ghettos of America build communities, this is what happened. As we do so much crime in the inner cities of America, there are small towns in America, middle of Pennsylvania, middle of Ohio, middle of California, where, population is up. Then one day you just see this landfill you see some construction workers come. And then a truck, these 18-wheelers come, a bunch of them. And they start putting these new prisons together like Legos. Then the gas station, they build the gas station. Then the Walmart park up. Then a hotel pop up. We building communities. And I'm gonna tell you a story, deep one. It was this guard named Ski. I used to go back and forth with him on the tier. Because I used to always speak up because he'd go in people's cells when they in the yard and do checking. You ain't supposed to be nobody. I used to say little stuff. So we used to battle. One day, he set me down. I go to the bubble to get some legal mail, because when you get the legal mail, you got to sign for it. Mm-hmm. And he said something strong to me. I never forgot this. He said, "Come here, Peoples." That's my last name. I said, "What, man? What you want, man? I'm just signing for my mail." He said, "Look." He opened up his shirt, and between his shirt and his vest, because they had a stab-proof vest, he pulled out an envelope. The envelope was folded. He opened the envelope. It was a picture. He put the picture down. Says, "I'm signing for my what's name." He opened legal mail. I stopped. Before I leave, I stopped. He said, "You and the homies, man. You and the homies." Being sarcastic, using the word homie. "You and the homies took care of you. Thanks to you and the homies." I'm like, I looked at the picture. It was his son standing in front of a big house with a pickup truck and a big boat there. I said, "You and the homies got me that." Usually I have a little verbal spar with him, but he stuck me that day. I was wounded. So I just walked back to the cell and sat on the bed and I said, "Damn. Ain't me and none of the homies never bought our mom no house. We never sent our kids to college. But you know how many kids, you know how many homes and kids is going to college that me and the homies doing that." Mm-hmm. But it ain't going to our community. We taking care of families, we taking care of generational, because in prisons you have with nepotism. You got the warden. The warden brother is a security captain. His other brother is the lieutenant. His sister is the head of the medical. The other cousin is the head of the gymnasium. The other cousin is the activity director. The other cousin is the head of the workforce. And you walk inside a prison, you see 15 family members that go home every day and 15 family members that don't. That's the prison system in America. So it's deep.
Right.
It's deep. And it's going to take a lot to break that.
Why is it that a lot of times that you see rappers and they rap about that, and they've made money, millions, and they still go back to that culture? Why can't they let that go? Why can't they escape that one?
Because in the ghetto, everything is about ego. You gotta prove to the dudes, the ops, or whoever they is. Everybody wanna prove to the people that they are doing better than that they still real. Mm. You mean you real? You just bought your mama a house. That's real enough. But people want to prove that I ain't no chump. I ain't no turkey. Listen, let me tell you something, man. You just rap some songs, right? I'm talking about you went in the studio, rap some songs. You got that publishing money. You got a bunch of money. It depends on how your deal structure. You got all that tour money. You got 10, 15 million in the bank. I think it's about time to start being a pussy, man. I think it's about time to start being a pussy. I'm just being real because, I'm not the one designed, and I'm not built like that to tell you some bullshit, Shannon, to say be tough. No, everybody else telling you to be tough. I'm not gonna tell you that. I think because all the rich people, I don't think they trying to worry about what somebody's saying about them. No. From a neighborhood that's still trying to figure out life. So I think it's cool to not be that tough no more, man.
Master P said something last night on our live show. He said sometimes, man, people be trying to get you to trick off your position, like you in a great position, and they. No.
A lot of people foul out. They get you to crash out.
Yeah, because you told them that, look, you gonna finesse yourselves out of this position. Your family, like you got your family in a great situation, and you gonna let somebody finesse you out of it.
But what did I tell you early in the interview? The ego is the number one killer of black man. It's the number one finesser out of the position. Like, Shannon, how many people say some crazy stuff about you? Just imagine if you just, if you just reacted to everything. A lot of times it don't even be that people don't like you. It be that people can't get around you and utilize your resources and utilize you. A lot of people, you see them, you might see somebody say something on the joint. I know you got a memory. You be like, they'll see you, Shannon, what's up? You be like, why you say that stuff about me, man? No, man, I was just, no, man. A lot of people just be wanting to hug, Shannon. They just be wanting some love. They just be wanting to get embraced. And they don't know how to go about that. You utilize the proper channels to say, damn, Shannon, I'm trying to do something with you, man. At the time right, can I get on your show? Right. Or whatever it may be. People don't know how to do that.
You know what? You recently sat down with Kodak Black and you had a conversation with him about his drug use. Well, let me ask you a question. How do you determine if they reach out, you're willing to sit down and talk to anybody, chop it up, have convo with anybody that reaches out? How do you go about who you sit down and talk to and impart wisdom on?
Oh, no, you can feel that shit. You can feel it. Because when you're doing it, you can just feel it. You can spirit, and I still know what's going on. Mm-hmm. You're moving around, you know what's going on. And everybody with these artists is sad. Most of they teams and managements are pussies. They got a bunch of yes men around them. A person is not, they care more about getting a check off of them than this person living. These people don't be giving a about these young bloods because they don't come from it. So they don't understand it. Now the ones that don't come from it and they're afraid of it, cool. But if you come from it, it's your duty to put the checking on them. Like, come on, man. Somebody got to be in line to check. Everybody scared. I done came with some joints. I'm like, damn, everybody scared of this? Yo, my man, what you doing, nephew? Oh, what's up? What you doing, man? What type of drugs you using, man? I done walked the rooms on people like that. Like, damn, you bigger than this, man. You know what you got the babies, and that's a lot of them, but you just feel the energy of what to tell,
How, sir, you kind of touched on this, a circle of friends. And I'm a firm believer that you have people in your corner that tell you what you need to know, not what you want to hear. Mm-hmm. Now, you said something very interesting. Because, see, if I tell you what you need to know, you're going to stop the bus, Wallo, and ask me to get off. Bro, I need that reflective shine, because when you walk up in the club, I'm with Wallo, they see Wallo popping bottles. Hey, I ain't Wallo, but I'm with Wallo, so I know what comes along with that. Mm-hmm. I can't ask you I can't tell you what's real and say, Wallo, man, you effing up. Because you're going to stop the bus and ask me to get off, and now I can't get no reflective shine.
But see, Wallo is only popping pure fuel. I'm not going to pop the bottles, baby.
No, I'm just saying.
Make sure you go get that. Official hydration drink to fill up your system in the Chicago sky. I'm owner. But listen.
The tropical punch. Mm-hmm. He's drinking a watermelon.
Yeah, but I don't drink. I don't smoke.
No, but I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That if I tell you the truth, you're going to stop the bus, you're going to ask me to get off, and now I can't go with you. You're not going to take
That's not always the time, but you know what? They got to double back, because sometimes that don't always happen, but it need to be done. Because they'll come back when they're in prison or whatever happened, or somebody, they're going to come back, but somebody got to do it. Somebody got to do it.
Celeb, you've been to prison.
Yeah.
And you weren't famous, so you in G-pop.
Yeah.
You got Diddy and you got R. Kelly.
I was in GP, right?
Right.
But I wanted to be in PC some days because it got a little brutal in there.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I wanted to slide up in PC like, it's a little, this day, too many stabbings, man. Let me just, y'all got some space back there? Y'all need somebody to move? Y'all need my cell? Some days I wanted to be in PC.
How different is it for a celeb being in a situation than a regular civilian?
I think it's different. It depends on what environment you in. Federal, state, it depends. I just think, I never seen nobody come in there and them have any problems that was celebrity when I was in prison.
You knew some celebs that came in there when you did that?
Yeah, some came through, but it wasn't like they wasn't on narrow level.
Right.
That's a megastar. People will be in there just fanning out sometimes. You be shocked, man. Dudes be in jail, man. Everybody, it ain't all what the movies play out. Right. Especially if you ain't got no problem with nobody. You know what I mean? But I ain't saying somebody won't press you, be like, yo, man, I need this money. Send it to me. I don't know that, but.
But that happen? Do that really happen?
Yeah, it happened. It happened.
To get protection, you got to get protection in there?
No, I ain't saying you got to get a protection, but somebody might press you, man. Somebody might be doing life. You might come in there, you might have had to get money, not even on that level.
Right.
And you might got to send somebody. People might got to get some people some money, that's all. Yeah.
Damn. Let me ask you a question. Is it true Gilly started the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast? How did you get out. So how did he have the foresight and the forethought to come up with $1 Million Worth of Game and say, you know what? My homie just did a bid.
Cousin. No, this is what happened. I'm going to tell you what happened. When I was in the joint, he was doing $1 million worth of game on Instagram.
Okay.
2012. Let me give y'all $1 million worth of game. Boom. He was popping it.
Right.
So when I get home, see, one thing about this is like this. The great thing about me and Cuz, we know our rules. I'm more of the researcher. I'm more of that person. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get with you, Cuz, when when these people start talking and we gotta get legal involved, we gotta go sit down, then I'm gonna call you. But I'm gonna go do that.
Okay.
You sit down, you do what you gonna do. You did enough. You build a whole following before I came home. I'm gonna add value to it because I'm one of these type of players.
Right.
I'm a player like this. If your name is on the marquee, Shannon, and I'm really about you, I'm going to get your water. I'm making sure you right. Damn, what you need, man? You see how your brother came over here? I don't know who that brother was.
Yeah.
Made sure you was right. It was no ego involved.
Man, I ain't finna be no dude, boy. I ain't doing all that, Wallo.
No, I'm just saying, see, that's your problem. That's why you gotta go back down the way. Come on, you ain't going on the road, baby. Go home. See, that's why you gotta go home.
Okay.
But that's the problem. I knew we had different parts to play. That's why we work so good. You know what I'm saying? So one day, he already doing it on Instagram. We doing our thing. We had already had content on Instagram, just the everyday content, riding the car, all that type of stuff. I'm up 4 o'clock in the morning. I like to read articles. I think it was on Apple. I love reading articles to get information. So it said, Spotify allocate 400 million to podcasters in the first quarter of 2019. I called him early in the morning. I said, yo, he all, man, what the yo, get up, read that article. I just text you that article. Read that shit, read it, please, cuz. He read it. So when he read it, he called me back. He said, yo, we got to get this shit rolling. We got to crack out the mics, talking about podcasts.
Yeah.
At that time, Maurice Correct, that's my homeboy, brother from another, he used to always call me like, Wallo, you and Gil got to start a podcast. He'd call me and Gil, y'all got to start a podcast, whatever. This is the first time that this dude woke up. And I'm like, he called me back, and I'm like, I'm going to talk to him later. He called me back. He was like, cuz, we got to do it. Crack the mic. He gave out all that money. That day, I called my homeboy, Nick Rich, graphic designer. I said, I need a logo. That afternoon, he had the logo. I called my attorney, Shay Loss. I said, Shay, I need this trademarked. Get the LLC out. Got everything done. Got the LLC done, all that shit. Boom. April 17th, we dropped the first episode of $1 Million worth of game. It went #2 in comedy on podcasts on Apple and #4 in all categories in like 7 hours. I said, we got something, baby. We got something. And we just started knocking. I said, cuz, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna get a deck created, and I'm gonna take all our social media, and this is the business of podcasts. I'm gonna take our social media following, because he had 1 million, I had 500,000. I said, I'm gonna take our social media following, I'm gonna put that on the deck, and I'm gonna tell sponsors, people that wanna be sponsors, I'm gonna tell them this. If you sponsor on this show, every time we put a clip up on our page, because $1 Million worth of game, then there's gonna be a $1 Million worth of game page on Gilly and Wallo page. We're gonna tag sponsored by Shannon Sharp Show, whatever, whoever you is. He said, all right, do your thing, cuz. I said, all right, I got you. One of the first places I went was to a funeral home. I go to a funeral home because I went to this funeral, right? Boyd's funeral home, all right? And Asia was like, she was at the funeral on license, nice looking sister. But my homie, that nigga looked like he was still living in the casket. I said, you bad. So I go there, I said, listen, I got a package for you. My sister from another mother, Mary, she hooked up the decks for me in the different entries of sponsorship, right? So I go to her, I said, listen. She said, yeah, I want to do something like this. I want you to market this joint. And this is when I'm just learning and creating my personal business of podcasting. So I said, all right, I got you. She paid me, I think she probably gave me like 20,000 for 4 minutes, right? So a minute, this is how I was selling it. I was selling minutes by, you get on each show, you get a minute worth of advertisement. Your logo gonna pop up, your number gonna pop up, everything gonna pop up, and I'm gonna run it down. So she said, all right, cool. Paid me the money. I said, all right, let me go. I went and done the ad. By the time I got to the second ad read, because we only do 4 shows a month, 1 a week. By the time I got to the second ad read, she called me, Wallo, stop. I said, what's up? She said, I ain't got enough work. I'm getting too many bodies, baby. I'm getting too many bodies. The episode, come on. This episode of $1 Million worth of game is brought to you by Boyd's Funeral Home. One thing about life, you're gonna die one day. And when you die, you wanna be laying in the casket looking like you living even though you're dead. You wanna be looking like you're gonna get up out of the casket. You wanna be looking like, wow, I wanna look like that, even by the living while you laying in the casket. I'm breaking it down. She was like, it was that. Next thing, Springfield Hyundai. I go to them, bang, they say, listen, we gonna give y'all 25,000 a month. 4 minutes, back, let's do it, baby. I'm coming back, Gil like, I said, yeah, baby. I wasn't going off of CPMs and all that other stuff they were doing. I'm creating my own industry. In business, you gotta know your value. When you bring value to value, it increase your value. I knew that we was valuable. I knew they wanted brand visibility because we was cultural.
Right.
But I'm also a good partner, whereas though I wanted to be mutually beneficial. We doing business, I need to make sure you're getting taken care of. Forget what you giving me.
Right.
I'm not gonna feel right if I know, damn, Shannon gave us all this money, man, and we didn't do what we needed to do.
Obligation.
That's not business.
Right.
So we popping it. It just kept popping. One day I get the most scariest call in my life. I'm in the crib. Phone rang too. Answer number. Just before when I was answering numbers and I ain't know what it. I mean, I ain't had no money then.
Right.
So I said, how you doing? This is Wallo, right? I said, yeah, this is Wallo. Is Gilly around? I said, yeah. He said, this is about the podcast. I said, all right. Call Gil. Yo, man, got somebody on the phone. He said, hi, Gil, how you doing? He said, yo, what's up, man? Gil, like, who this, man? You know, Gil B. He said, hi, I'm Courtney Holt. So me, I'm a vicious researcher. I'm like this one on the phone. I send it to Gil, screenshot. I said, oh shit, this dude that ran it, he's the head of Spotify at the time. I'm like, I'm saying to myself, how you get my number? In culture, you don't gotta ask nobody to do nothing for you. When you popping and you hot, the people that need to find you gonna find you. It ain't about nobody reposting you. They gonna find you. I don't know how you got my number. So now I'm on the phone and I'm like, he said, what do you guys want? I said, what you talking about? I said, no. What do you want? He said, no. How much money do you guys want? Now I'm stuck because I don't even know what to tell him. Mm-hmm. I'm stuck. But it's like, I said, we want ownership.